Hi again. I had to stop my last one. It was a bit too short. I've only got around about 10 minutes every video. I can't seem to extend it. But as I was saying, in part three of these videos I'm doing, I got up to the sort of sending the three courtesy notices and moving on to the invoices. I did say in one of my videos that send four. The reason why you're going to send the fourth one, is because the fourth one will be sent with an invoice. Okay? Because three, you can get up to three and be like, fine. But send them another one, the fourth one, and attach. Even if you have to glue it on the back, and write a little something on the bottom, say, please see attached or whatever. Because a lot of people say I'll just staple it, but they could easily just pull it off. But it doesn't matter if you keep a record of all the invoices. If you get to this stage, if you keep a record of all your invoices, and as I said previously, keep a record of everything you do. Absolutely everything. Even if it's just writing them a letter, just keep a record of it. But especially with your invoices, keep a record. And also, if I can find one here, I've got these. You get a receipt from the post office. Make sure you keep hold of them. You know the receipt that you get if you do a registered post. They give you the actual receipt that you sent it. And if you spend another couple of dollars, you can get the actual. I can't find one anyway. You get the actual receipt of their acceptance of the mail. So anyway, so when you keep a record of these things, if they ever take any more action and they say, right, we're taking you to court, then you've got a record of all the correspondence that you've had with anyone that you're sending this stuff to. And when they've got an invoice outstanding, it's like when you've got an invoice outstanding, you get three notifications. You get the reminder, then you get the overdue, then you get the final warning or final notice. Well, that's what you're going to do for this. And more times than not, it won't actually get to that point. Okay? Because if it gets to the point and they're still doing that after your third invoice, then we can talk another video about taking further action. Maybe like liens, or maybe even do a financing statement filing through UCC. But we can talk about that another time. But this time, what you're going to do you send them four, but the fourth one isn't really a courtesy notice as such, because you're enforcing now your invoice stage. So the courtesy notice is just, as I say, another reminder. Look, okay, this is the action I'm taking now. You go through the same steps as you do the first one. You write the respondent's name, the proponent's name, which is you, and all the information. If it's purporting to be an infringement notice or a summons to court or any sort of contract, because all these things are contracts. Anything that you get from any other company that you don't work for is classed as a contract, right? And you have every right to reject or accept any contract that's sent to you, right? So you have to realise that these are all contracts. They just don't tell you this. So by you sending these courtesy notes and invoicing these people is your sort of way of saying, okay, well, if I'm going to accept this contract, these are my terms and conditions of my acceptance. Okay? So you're sort of giving them a deal, in effect. You're sort of saying to them, okay, well, this is the only way that we can interact together. And as I've posted up online and offered a contract, there's a few discrepancies in it, but that's not my final draft. But I just give you a rough idea of what I will be carrying with me in my car, probably in a bag if I'm walking around the street and a policeman stops me or whatever. Because then you hand them that, and state, before we actually even speak, you need to read this. So you get to the invoice stage, you're sending your invoices out now, and I can tell you, when people start getting invoices through their letterbox, they would question it. But if even it, as I said, I've said this before, you screw it up, throw it in the bin, doesn't matter. As long as you keep a record of it, and as long as you get that registered post receipt that you sent it, that is always the proof you need that you have actually invoiced that company. Alright, so you're getting to the stage now where people are going to be asking questions. They're going to be saying, oh, I'm not going to pay the invoice. Well, the only other thing they can do if they don't pay it is to stop their action against you. Because if they don't pay it and they keep carrying on, then, you know, that's when you start moving into the moral serious stuff that really you don't want to get to, because this is not what it's all about. You're not about depriving anyone of anything. You're not about it's not about the money and the amount you put on your invoice, because you're not looking to get, it's not about the money. If it was about the money, you know, then I wouldn't be doing this. It's not about the money. I don't care. You know, I don't care about the money. They do, but I don't. And for me to pay something that, you know, is only really a harvester of my sweat equity and my energy, why would I want to pay it? So, you know, as I say, you've notified them, now you're invoicing them. So after this step, then this is where we can touch upon it in another video, because you can talk about liens and UCC financing statements to the individual, which would, you know, force their hand to stop what they're doing, because a lien pretty much sort of, you know, you take control of assets, you can take people's houses, and this is what we don't want to do. We don't want to get to that stage, but we all know that people are, you got bills to pay, you got homes, you got families, you know what I mean, and you got to understand that these people do too. You know, they have mortgages to pay, they have cars to run, they have the kids to go to school. So what I'm saying is you have to be responsible for the actions you take in this process. Don't just put the onus on them, because that's not what it is. Everything you do along the way is your responsibility. So you have to take responsibility of your actions and don't just act. Make sure you've got the kahunas to take the consequences of your actions if you do the wrong thing. Okay? So this is what it's all about, really, is personal liability. We've talked about it in a previous one. But personal liability is the most important thing to think about. Is if you really want to go down this road and you're thinking about doing it because someone else has harmed you, there's a consequence to that. Because you're going to do it with that intention that you don't want to do it in. As I said, it's the most important thing is to be in that place where you know that what you're doing is right, and you know what you're doing won't actually harm the person, because you're only telling him that the game has changed. But if he carries on, then you need to be prepared to take action and be responsible. I'm asking everyone, don't just run out and start doing this stuff, because, you know, it's not a tool for that. It's only a notification. So we have to realise, right, that a lot of things that we do in life in this system revolves around coin. It revolves around what can you give me if I do this for you. But the difference is with the coaching notes is what you're saying to them is, I can give you something that you probably didn't know before. I can give you some information that might help you. It's not going to harm you in any way. You know, but if you carry on harming me, then I'm going to take action. Because that's what you do to me. If I don't pay a fine, you send me notices and say you have to pay. So I'm going to, you know, this is where it happens now. This is where you go. It's a bit tit for tat, and I know people will look at it like that, but it's not. It's total. It's all about contracts. You can reject or accept. It doesn't matter. So that's what I'm all trying to say about that. Is the fact that you can accept a contract or you can offer a contract. I don't have to accept it, and the same goes for you. So that's where it is from now on, and I'll just do my next one and we talk about liens and stuff like that. Okay, so thank you very much.